The project is the Kraken, or Crackalicious, or we've had a few different names for it, but really it's the Kraken, the East Bay Burner Kraken.
The East Bay Burners thought of the Kraken last year on Playa, and I thought it was a brilliant idea the first time I heard it. I immediately said, that's an idea worth building. We need to make, because all of us have in our subconscious the idea of a Kraken, and it goes back centuries and centuries and centuries. The idea of a Kraken as this large unknown beast that overtakes and overpowers us. I mean, how amazing is a deep sea creature that wiggles and moves and flashes lights and has interactivity?
And I am the architect, structural consultant, backup guy for the lead artist to make sure it's stable, secure, safe, and buildable. I've been to Burning Man went 5 years before I worked on my first large project, and the very first large project I worked on was the Trojan Horse in 2011. I was the architect for the horse portion of that project and the coordination with the guys who built the cart in Reno. That was a big leap for me, personally and professionally. Then the following year did Anubis, which was a Dan Fox project, the team that did the Trojan Horse. And last year I did the final, what now is the final core project by East Bay Burners, which was First Home.
So the East Bay Burners have done 3 projects so far. They've all been core projects that we've done. The Port of Fire, Fertility, and First Home. We've got a track record. We've built numerous projects. We've been able to figure out how to raise them funds for them, hold good parties, draw new members into our community, and now we're looking to grow larger.
I'm actually pretty excited about this space we're going to create there on the playa. From the distance, it will very obviously be an octopus or a squid coming up out of the playa. As you approach closer, you'll start to realize, because it'll be lit on the inside, that there's actually an interior space under the head. There's actually going to be what will appear to be a boat that got captured by the Kraken, and that will be, more than likely, well, we'll be serving drinks, and there'll be a bar, and there'll be kind of party space.
We want to use a combination of proximity detectors and sound sensors in order to create a light show of interaction. So for instance, say a art car pulls up near the Kraken and it's blasting its music. Well, the Kraken will become aware of the art car there and will flash beats of light to the music that's playing. If an art car is not there and a person walks up on a smaller scale and is near the Kraken will sense it through a proximity detector and have a response back to the person.
The biggest architectural challenge of the Kraken is that it's a very organic form, and it doesn't yield to blueprints and standard sort of engineering practice like you know, something that was more angular or geometric. So a lot of it is intuitive, and it's very you know, the design process is very intuitive and very hands-on. You know, we're having to build prototypes. We can't really model it in the computer ahead of time.
The building concept originates from pallets, and since we want to include as much recycled wood as possible, we're using pallets, and then we want to form an organic structure to the pallets. So we're planning to disassemble them and reassemble them as pallets, but in octagons of 8-sided figures. And we combine them together much like calamari rings until we create an edible structure. You gotta cut that. The Kraken needs to be in an attack pose, because a Kraken is one of the most voracious hunters of the deep sea. They're amazing creatures, these cephalopods. They can swim forward, they can swim backwards, they can attack with tentacles, they can attack with their beak. They can do amazing things. They can flash light shows. That's just their normal ambiance that they do. If the Kraken was a real live creature on the playa, we'd want to be a part of that real life thing. We don't have to recreate it. All we have to do is mimic nature. Today we're building a tentacle that we're going to bring to Vernal Equinox on March 8th. But we'll have an 8-foot tall tentacle that's going to be the prototype of what you're going to imagine to see on Playa. We happen to hook up, of all people, a virgin, if you can believe it, who's really experienced with light shows and how to program Arduinos and RGB LEDs. And we'd really like to have him on our team, Gustavo Ambrosia, who's going to be handling all of that.
Well, there's a lot of ways to get involved. You know, if you're local here in the Bay Area, we'd love to have you at NIMBY. We're going to be starting in May, and just come down and hang out and put together some of the tentacles, which are going to be awesome and coming out of the desert. Other ways that you can get involved, we're going to have a lot of fundraisers. We're going to have parties at NIMBY as well as at other event spaces. We're going to be cooking soup, serving soup to people, and yeah. We're gonna be having a fancy dinner. We're gonna have a bake sale, and so you can get involved by coming to those and meeting us and talking about the project and helping fund this project. So what we're asking the community to help us fund is really transportation to the playa, as well as granite to burn on. Anything that burns on the desert, you have to lay down granite, and really food and water for the crew. You know, we're sourcing the pallets locally. We're getting them for free, which is what the wood we're going to get to build the actual Kraken. And so really it's just transportation and for the burn. You should donate to this project because you know, as a community, as the East Bay burner community, we're donating hundreds of hours of time and money, and if you want to get involved at that level, then absolutely come and meet us at NIMBY. And if you don't have that time and commitment, one way to get involved in this really awesome local burner project is to donate some money, so we can get this thing out there on a semi-truck, and we can get some granite down and burn it.
Release the Kraken!